guys, do you love food? Do you find yourself looking for the freshest ingredients and best way to prepare a dish? Well, some might call you a foodie. I'm a classically trained chef. I have my own cooking show, and when it comes to food, I feel the same way. I'm Liz Bramwell, and this is The Foodie. Hey guys, we're here today at Trowbridge Farm with Phil Trowbridge in Ghent, New York, and we are learning all about beef. So tell me about the barn logo that's here.
Certified Angus Beef put out where they were 40-year anniversary, and they were going to award 40 of these logos. I wasn't really sure if we had a shot because, you know, there's 20-some thousand Angus breeders.
Of course.
And,
but it never hurts to apply.
Right. So when I did apply, they know that we do a lot of educational units here, and they thought it was a great place. So when we got it, I was pretty excited because there's only 40 of them in the nation.
There's 40 for the 40th anniversary, right. And you are barn number?
Barn 13.
13.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, I was pretty excited about it. So the farm we're going to stop at now is where we're calving now,
yep.
Where we store most of our winter feed.
Was it the silo that I could see from the road?
Well, ours is a trench silo, so you couldn't see ours probably. But so this starts this farm. We've had this about 30 years, and the mountains you can see in the distance are the Catskills.
So this is a gorgeous farm. How many acres are we on right now?
This farm here is about 110 acres.
110, and yeah. So how many cows do you think are on the 110 acres here? We usually figure about 2 acres per cow is manageable. So there's about 50 or 60 here. Phil, let's get right down to it. What is the difference between a cow, a steer, and a bull? Layman's terms.
Okay, layman's terms. Actually, we call a heifer is before they give birth.
Okay.
So a female that from the time they're a baby until they give birth are classified as heifers.
Heifer.
And then once they mature and have birth, they're called cows.
Cows.
Okay, and then a male is called a bull for his whole life unless he's neutered. And once he's neutered, he becomes a steer.
Snip, snip.
Yeah, castration.
Removing the goods.
Yes.
Speaking about the certified Angus beef criteria that the animals have to fall under to become certified Angus beef, what are the most important to you?
Well, for us, you know, what we want people to know is they don't necessarily have to know all 10 criteria.
Right.
Because they just need to know it's a high quality eating experience, but it has to be in the upper 2/3 of choice.
Yep.
Have to be under 30 months of age.
Yep.
10 to 16 square inches for a ribeye. Fine marbling.
I learned all about that.
The marbling is so important.
Yes, it is.
You know, it's what creates the flavor.
So will all of your Angus end up being certified Angus beef?
Just 15 years ago, we probably, all Angus that were harvested, we were at about an 18% acceptance rate.
Interesting, that feels low.
Yeah, but since we've worked so hard at our marbling and ribeye stuff, we're now doubled that.
That's fantastic.
In 15 years, so, you know, the important part of that is that not all Angus is certified Angus beef.
So not all Angus will be certified Angus beef.
Right.
But right now we're looking at what, 40%?
36.
36?
Yeah, somewhere in that ballpark. So it's
perfect.
It's a good thing, but don't be fooled when you buy a steak if it says Angus.
It just means it's an Angus cow. It doesn't mean it's certified Angus beef.
That doesn't mean that it was in the upper 2/3 of choice and the marbling and all the other things that go with it.
All right, so as we head up to the truck, what's the one thing that you would love for just the public in general to know about cows?
I think it's really important and misunderstood. Just we're probably the best caretakers in the world of the environment and the cattle. Because if we're not environmentally sound, we're going to put ourselves out of business in a short period of time.
Next up, guys, we're going to learn all about the feed. So, this lovely cow behind me is like a barrel with legs. Let's talk about nutrition with these animals.
Okay, so, you know, it's the most important thing that we run across. This is, you know, these cows are on this diet today because we're getting towards the fall.
Yep.
The grass quality is going down. So this is just ground hay. And it's, you can smell it, it's fermented.
That's actually the first thing I could smell when I got here. It's not the cows, it's not the patties, it's actually the food.
Fermentation from this. So you say that cow looks like a barrel. Well, it's kind of like a high performance race car. You know, if you have a cow that has a small stomach, let's say we're gonna put a 5-gallon gas tank on your high performance race car.
Oh, it's gonna run out of gas
real fast.
real
Gonna
fast.
run out of gas real fast.
Yeah.
So this cow has a 50-gallon. So when she eats this feed and forage, you know, it doesn't weigh much. So it takes a lot of space.
Yeah.
They need to have that big middle and a big stomach, which I resemble, to do this. They have to eat a lot of forage to convert grass to energy. So when you pointed that out, that was very astute. And it is so important that we see cattle that have a big middle, and that is their gas tank. You know, the other thing, when we get to the point where we want to start putting on more pounds in finished cattle.
Towards the very end.
Towards the very end.
Last how many days?
When we get into that 90 to 120 day finishing period, then we're probably going to add some more energy. And with our energy, this is kind of like what we like to feed. It's soybean meal, corn, and a lot of oats. And then there's some brewers, dried distillers, which is reusable feed that we've gotten from other things. So, but the corn and the oats and the soybean meal, it's a high energy feed. Cattle love it. We'll throw a little bit of this in.
Well, we can't wait to see what happens.
We'll see if they come up.
I hope they come over.
Okay.
I hope they come over.
So put one hand here, one hand here.
Yep, and how much do you want to shake out? Just,
all
or how far do you want me to get?
Just go right down to the other end.
All right.
A little more. There you go. Now you got the pace.
Hello, everybody. Here they come. So Phil, are you a cow whisperer? Can you call some in?
Let me give it a shot. Look at the calf.
Hey guys, next up, we're gonna visit Certified Angus Beef's Culinary Center in Wooster, Ohio, and see my friend and meat scientist, Diana Clark. So we're here today at Certified Angus Beef, and my friend Diana Clark is actually gonna help me break down this beef hindquarter. Every week, they invite chefs, retailers, and distributors to their meat lab. They give seminars about how certified Angus beef is the best you can buy. A few weeks ago, I went there for 2 days of hands-on learning. There's a lot to learn about beef, but one of the most important things is to know how they judge it. There are 3 key grades: select, choice, and prime, and these determine the value when it goes to market. This is done by USDA graders that work with meatpacking plants. They have standardized cards that they can use to decide the grade. In a simplified way, they will go through several cards until they have a near identical match. And when they do, that side of beef gets the all-important stamp. Remember, the better the grade, the greater the value. The most important thing to understand is marbling, which are little flecks of fat throughout the meat. Small, consistent marbling is a wonderful thing. And remember, fat equals flavor. So now that we're finished at the meat lab, we're gonna head to the studio kitchen and see how restaurant and grocery store steaks are cut. Hey guys, I'm Chef Liz Bramwell here with my favorite butcher, Jeff Vinaco. And today he's gonna show us how to break down this beautiful rib subprimal cut. You can get anything out of this from a rib roast all the way to some beautiful bone-in ribeyes.
So when we do rib roast, outstanding rib roast for the holidays.
Yep.
This is always good, this fat cap to leave on. A lot of times they'll cut this off. I like to keep this on. I put the seasoning when you guys cook it.
Do you put it in between?
In between, and then put this back over it.
So you sandwich the seasoning between the fat that's literally going to soften, melt, and soak right into the protein.
Awesome.
Brilliant. Look at that. That's beautiful just by itself.
Look at the marbling in that.
Yes. Tell me anything you know about marbling in general.
Okay. So have you ever had a baked potato, Liz?
Of course.
And what do you put on a baked potato to make it taste good?
Well, you gotta start with butter.
All right, let's stop right there.
Okay.
So butter,
Yep.
right? So when you add butter to a baked potato
Makes it twice as good.
and you add heat to it,
It makes it even better.
it melts throughout the baked potato, right?
Correct.
Same thing happens with marbling. When we add heat to that, that's the butter within the steak.
Ah, so what you're saying is this melts into the muscle tissue
And that gives it the flavor that we all want and we all look for.
because fat equals flavor.
When I was a kid, my mom would always take me into the butcher shop and look for the rarest piece of meat, the reddest piece of meat, right? Because that was the best, right? Look at that nice red steak.
Yep.
But it ate like shoe leather. We'd have to put like all kinds of sauces on it to make it taste
Worcestershire was mine. I would just
Exactly.
cover it at Worcestershire.
Yes. So I always look for this. If I see marbling in the meat,
So the flex.
the flecks
Yep.
of fat, yes. The flecks of flavor, we call it at Certified English
Flex
Beef.
of flavor.
Flecks of flavor. We know we're getting a quality piece of meat.
Okay.
Now,
So this is the rib. You're calling it the
so
rib
this is
heart.
a boneless ribeye.
Okay.
Rib roast.
Rib roast.
Boneless though.
Okay.
we
So it's not Delmonico without the other muscle, is it?
Yeah, it's a Delmonico.
Okay.
It could be called a Delmonico. But that's it. Look at that thing.
That's nice. That's nice.
Can I take this home?
Yes, you can. You take whatever you want, right? When you show up with the beef, you leave with the beef. It's up to you. Tell me about this absolutely ridiculously beautiful cut here.
So that is a rib steak that would be at a retail shop, or you could hear it as a cowboy steak.
Cowboy, that's right.
And that has, the cowboy steak has the spinalis attached to it in the
Okay.
rib bone.
Beautiful.
A cowgirl steak would be without the spinalis.
No spinalis.
Correct.
Okay. So next is going to be these beautiful beef ribs, which you said you actually like to leave in a full rack.
Correct. I like to leave them in a full rack. These are actually called the beef back ribs.
Beef back ribs.
They're actually a full 7 ribs.
Okay. And they're thin, but there's still plenty of protein on here in between the actual bones.
Correct.
So that's very cool. And then we have what? Our classic holiday rib roast here, right?
With the bone detached. So when you cook it, the bone will fall off.
Awesome.
And then you could just slice it straight down.
And this is what you were talking about with actually separating the fat cap, but not separated, but kind of
it back.
pulling the fat cap back, and then putting all your seasoning inside the roast, and then of course putting it back down, and the fat just melts right through it. It's unbelievable. So back here we have 2 beautiful ribeye steaks. This one here is missing the kernel fat. This here is what you would see in your typical meat case.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Give me a good spiel on this.
So this is the spinalis. This is this piece of the ribeye steak. Very tender, very, very expensive.
Yep.
It's unbelievable.
And then of course, in the very back, one's tied, one is not, but they are the same muscle.
Piece. Correct.
Tell me about them.
So this is a boneless rib roast.
Okay.
A boneless Delmonico roast, it could be called.
Now you could also slice this into Delmonico steaks, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
And again, it would look like similar like that without the spinalis on it.
So no here, and this would be trimmed.
We could take one slice off this.
Yeah,
Liz,
let's.
just so we can show.
Let's take a quick look. Never hurts. Oh, that's beautiful.
That's what it would look like.
And it's so nice for people to know. So when they go to a restaurant and they're ordering beef back ribs, this is that. When they order a Delmonico, occasionally maybe the server doesn't know. But the customer knows that the Delmonico is literally the center eye of the ribeye. Now, granted, it's missing some really delightful parts. However, it is what it is. Great. All right, so now that we have broken that subprimal down into all these usable pieces, I just wanted to briefly touch upon Indo-Cryo. So this is an individually cryovac steak, 16-ounce bone-in ribeye. This is really what restaurants are meant to have, correct?
Correct.
And the subprimal, that big cut that we started with, is really something that's geared more towards a butcher shop or a grocery where they can break it down and market all the different pieces.
Correct.
Yeah. Don't go away, guys. When we come back, I'm gonna grill up a ribeye and show you some meat temps. Welcome back. We're here inside the studio kitchen, and it's time for me to show you how to cook one of these beautiful ribeye steaks. First things first, we're gonna put a little extra virgin olive oil on both sides of our protein. And the extra virgin olive oil is gonna act as our lubricant to keep our steak from sticking to the grill. So just rubbing it in a little bit. Then we're gonna season the outside of our protein with salt and pepper. Now I'm using kosher salt and cracked black pepper. Don't have to be too heavy-handed, but do keep in mind the 50% of your seasoning is either gonna burn off or fall off when it hits the grill. Now that we've seasoned our beautiful steak, we're gonna go right onto the grill. Now I don't wanna press the meat or rush the meat. This is a beautiful 14-ounce ribeye that should take approximately 10 minutes to cook to get to that beautiful medium rare, medium temp. Now I prefer to rotate my steak when it's on the grill, as far as grill marks go, at a 45-degree angle. So we're gonna do exactly that. Now we're staying on one side, and then we'll get to flipping. So while I'm watching the steak cook on the grill, I'm noticing that the fat cap that used to be kind of the top of the rib is just starting to peel back right here. It looks and smells absolutely amazing. And the smoke that's coming up off the grill at this point is a combination of two fats. We have extra virgin olive oil and the beef fat. This is perfect. So at this point, we're ready to flip. It's been about 3 minutes, and I want to make sure that I get some nice grill marks on both sides. Now I moved from one side of the grill to the other. Why? Because heat is very important with getting some nice grill marks on our steak. These are actually perfect diamonds on here. So the steak has been on the grill for approximately 6 minutes at this point, and I think it's almost time to rotate and then possibly flip again. So let's take a peek. Now I'm lifting up one edge just to see how my grill marks are, and they look fantastic. I'm gonna do another 45-degree rotation and let it cruise for another couple minutes. All right, guys, so I think we are just about ready. Steak's been on the grill for about 8 minutes. I wanna make sure it has a couple of minutes to rest before we go ahead and eat it. Steak is off the grill, 2 minutes to rest, and then we plate. I have my beautiful 14-ounce ribeye. We're gonna put right here on the plate. Oh, look at the juice. Look at the juice. And I've decided to pair my steak for tonight's dinner with a beautiful twice-baked potato and a little bit of grilled asparagus. Take a look at this steak, guys. It is perfect. Now, doesn't that look delicious? Hey guys, I want to give you a little information as far as your internal temperature goes when cooking beef. A lot of people haven't seen a side-by-side of everything from rare to well, so here they are. Rare, cool red center. Medium rare, warm red center. Medium, warm pink center. Medium well, slightly pink. Well done, little to no pink. Well guys, I had a lot of fun today at Trowbridge Farm. Just want to say thanks to Phil and his family, Diana Clark and Jeff Vinaco. I hope you guys enjoyed the trip. Join me next week as I venture out into the culinary world, visiting my favorite suppliers, vendors, and chefs around New England. I'm Liz Bramwell, and this is The Foodie. Come meet me inside the studio kitchen at Bar Rustic in Kingston, Mass, and visit us on our website at thefoodie.show.